Hello, everyone, and welcome to
WEEZCAST
Plus. All right, so we just listened to Weezer's Teal album on vinyl, and to start this off, I'm going to introduce ourselves as I normally do. I'm your host, Aidan Morden, with co-host
Caleb Chassin
and co-host
Stephen Primler
and returning special guest
Matt Reed.
Thank you for being with us, Matt. It was a pleasure last time having you for Make Believe. It is a pleasure having you again. So, what I will say is in 2017, a very bold, brave 14-year-old girl had a goal. And that goal was to get Weezer to cover the song Africa by Toto. And the way she did this is she made a Twitter account called @Weezer Africa and tweeted at Weezer every day, telling them to cover Africa. And when they would tweet, she would reply with that account telling them that they need to bless the rains down in Africa. And to lead up to this, Weezer actually first released a cover of Rosanna by Toto, and then ended up doing Africa and then the whole Teal album. So I think that the Teal album is here today because of this girl.
She had no life.
I guess.
That's just what she did.
I think that's pretty legendary she did that.
Maybe we can do that.
So,
You can.
right off the bat, for Africa, I mean, the music is pretty much the same as the original. There's really not a lot of variancy to it. It pretty much just seems like a karaoke version. But instead of Toto, it's River singing, which I have no complaints about.
You just found a karaoke version on YouTube.
The vocals and harmonies are like really, really well done, which is a really good thing because that's one of the highlights in the original song, I think. But really, other than that, I don't have much to say about it. Matt, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I have heard that before. I think I like the Weezer cover better. I'm not really set on the song itself. So I know some people are like, oh no, the song has to stay the exact same and no one can touch it for years to come, kind of thing. But if it's good enough, it'll still be okay, and the original will outlast the covers of it. But I'm okay with it. The original is a bit, I don't want to say cheesy, but it hasn't aged super well.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know too much about the band Toto, but I'm gonna assume that there are a bunch of Americans that have never been to Africa, and so writing a song about it, it's only gonna go so far from the 80s to, I mean, that's like what, 40 something years. So, but yeah, the song itself, I remember when Stranger Things came out and they played that song on throughout it, and then like
Africa?
Yeah.
I don't remember Africa being in Stranger Things.
Oh, it's in the first season, like the original, not the Weezer cover of it.
Well, yeah.
But I remember,
it's been a long time since I've seen it though. But
yeah, so it was like in the first couple episodes of one of the first couple episodes of the first season. And I remember on Spotify, it all of a sudden just shot up, and it was like in the top 100 for a while. And it was weird because that song's older than me, but there was like kids half my age singing it all of a sudden, and it was played at weddings and stuff I went to, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it really shows you like the power of media and entertainment bringing songs back like that. So, yeah.
Cool. Steven?
They do a really good job of it. Like, I don't think it was extremely difficult for them to match the sound of the original. So it's very similar, like you said. I feel like the way that it's mixed and the way that they did it, it's like so, it just mixes together so well. It just feels like a blanket over your ears when you listen to it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like psychedelic. I don't know. It's just this really warm kind of feeling that it gives. And it's like, so it's very similar to the original, but it's slightly more like, I don't know, refined in that way. It has a slightly different kind of vibe to it, but still very similar. I'd say it's like on par.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. So
Birthday.
Birthmas.
Cumpleaños.
Okay.
both versions are good, but I think Weezer's version is better. I love how for the chorus, instead of just River singing, it's like all of them as a group effort. So I feel like that really stands out in making it also better. I also like the drums in this one a lot. Like, comparing to the original, I just find it's more fulfilling. And it's recorded better.
Yeah, definitely, like, because it was obviously mixed and mastered, like Matt's saying, like 40 years later, so it's obviously more of a clean cut mix than something from like a long time ago, because technology's advanced and it's very clean sounding. So yeah, moving on to Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Crap,
which is...
I had a good pun, but then I wasted it.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh well.
What was it?
That's gonna sound weird.
You do the editing, so you can just edit.
No.
Okay. All right. You want to start us off with this one, Caleb?
Sure. The original has a better chorus, but Weezer's version has better vocals for the verses. And this parody is pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like it's there's certain things about the original that are better and better about this cover, I find.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steven?
I've never been a huge fan of the original, so like, I'm not a huge fan of this one either. It's just, I don't know.
It's just there.
It's not terrible, but it's not like great either. It's just there, yeah. So I don't really have anything to say about it.
Cool. Matt?
Yeah, it's one of those songs where I can remember hearing it a long time ago, but especially before Shazam was invented, it was just like I didn't know what it was. And then it was much later on, but when I was going through the Hunger Games movies, and it's in the soundtrack, Lord, the singer from New Zealand, does a cover of it. And hers is very mysterious and dark and kind of gloomy. Just kind of sets the tone for, the way Hunger Games is, like, kind of dystopian and gloomy and that sort of thing. This version is a lot more lighthearted, I guess. It goes back to kind of that 80s synth, very preppy, poppy kind of thing. And, I feel like there's a lot of songs that have come out in the last 10 years or so that are trying to sound like that 80s sound. And this song is like that stereotype of it when I think of 80s songs.
Yeah, that's fair. It's very, like, it has all of the aspects of an 80s songs that are like, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. But yeah. And I think Reliant K does a cover of the song too.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
It's been a long time since I've listened to it, but yeah, I do enjoy this Weezer one. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I think Weezer does a good job with it, and they stayed true to themselves too, where they're using a lot of guitars and stuff, and you can see it in the songs, even if the songs don't quite. If they use different instruments, Weezer seems to use their normal instruments for it. They're not changing up too much, so they still sound like Weezer when they do the song, which is nice.
It is. This one, like, honestly, other than, like, the guitar is a little bit more predominant in this one than the original, like you're saying. And I think that the main thing that I don't really like with the original, which I do like the song, it is a great song, but I don't really like the vocalists in a lot of these old bands. Like, they just have, like, these unappealing voices.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't sing, it's just that the way they sing is kind of, in that era, is just not appealing to me. Mm-hmm. So it's another one that's kind of like karaoke, but with rivers. And I never noticed the solo in this song before. I feel like usually when the song's on, it kind of fades into the background, and it's nice. It's a nice song to have on, but I never really paid a lot of attention before. And the solo is really, really nice. The distortion on there, it's very, very crispy. And then the second time there's a solo, the bass is really spicy. I would say the bass is really spicy. It's really, really nice. And I think that this time listening to it is the most I've ever enjoyed that track. I really enjoyed it this time. In fact, it might even give me sweet dreams.
Wow.
But probably not.
Probably not.
Matt, why don't you start us off for sweet dreams?
Yeah. I've never really liked this song, like the original and stuff. But I think it was mostly because it was tainted by the Marilyn Manson version of it, which I just found super creepy, and just like his voice, like I don't even know. It's just like really creepy, like he's on something. Or whatever. And I remember seeing like a clip of the music video when I was young on like MTV or something, and being super creeped out by it and just being like, nope, I hate this song. And even when I heard the original of it and it's not as creepy, I'm like, still don't like the song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed Weezer's cover of it, but I still hate the song. Still not gonna lie, man. Something traumatized me when I was younger, or I don't know, but
It's a cool story.
Yeah. Dude, literally all I have to say about this one is much better than the Marilyn Manson one.
yeah,
It's pretty much the same as the original. It's like pretty level with it. Maybe a little bit better bass in it. Because the bass on a lot of these songs is the bass and electric guitar are super predominant and sound really, really good. And they have a classic Weezer feel to them. So it's like they didn't really change a lot of the songs too much, but they did add that little bit of a special Weezer sound to it. Caleb, what did you think?
Okay.
And while you're saying that, I'm just going to double check that I'm still getting this.
I'm going to be hated for this opinion. I like the original better.
That's fine.
I'd be hated for that.
Because you guys don't like the original. I will say, I feel like this one, like the music for it is, it holds out pretty well comparing to the original, but I feel like it's kind of empty. Like, it feels like it's just drums and synth. It's not, like, there's no extra, like, layers with sound, I find. It's just, like, they just copied and pasted and just left it there without any, like, extra stuff in the background to make it feel alive as much. That's what I feel like for this song. So that's why I like the original better in some circumstances. But yeah.
That's fair.
Marilyn Manson doesn't do the original.
No.
Okay, I didn't
Marilyn
think so.
Manson just did a cover, and that's the one that people tend to know more.
Okay.
Yeah, the old one is, I'm not sure when it
Original's the Eurythmics.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm
Marilyn
thinking
Manson
of
in the 90s
the
did
cover
a cover
one.
of it.
Is that the one that they
That's the one
use
that-
in the X-Men
Okay.
movie?
I've never heard
Probably,
the
yeah.
Marilyn
Okay, I like
Manson
that
one.
one.
I
That's the
probably
one I
would
was
hate it
thinking
as well.
Yeah.
But we're having two different conversations here.
Sorry. You'll be able to hear both on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I like the original. I feel like these ones again are very similar, but this one I think I like slightly more because Rivers, he does a really good job on the vocals in this one, and in the original the vocals aren't the best, so they're like even, but I prefer the cover.
Also, something that our little sidebar that we were having, we discovered, I think the one that Caleb was comparing it to was actually the Marilyn Manson one. Is the one that he's
Really?
familiar with, not the original.
okay.
So he likes the Marilyn Manson one better.
That's
So what
really
a disturbed Matt.
No, I'm gonna
But
have
that's
to
okay.
listen to
Everybody's
that one now.
everybody's got different tastes.
You've heard that one though, right? I'm
No.
sure you have.
I've only heard the Eurythmics.
It's an X-Men.
That's the Eurythmics.
Is it?
Is it?
Pretty sure.
I don't know. It's been a
Whatever
while
one
since
the
I've seen
one
it.
is in the X-Men, I like that one.
Maybe I'm wrong.
On your podcast, we're not allowed to actually play the songs, right?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
No,
Be
then
like,
they get,
oh, hey,
I
just
think they
listen
get
to
less views and it gets like a flag thing on it or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He knows about that better than I do. But, take on me. Caleb, what is your take?
I'll take you on.
All right.
What is your take on me?
What's your take on me?
Let me find it.
All right, Steven, what's your take on me? Well, Caleb's looking for
My
his.
take on me is the original is much better. Because, well, the guy who does the original has a good voice, and Rivers, his voice isn't as good. Also, for some reason, the intro didn't sound like it sounded like they botched the intro, and it just wasn't as good as the original either. So, overall, like, there's just no point in making a cover of that song because it's
He's
already
out of
good
line,
the way
but he's
it
right.
is. So yeah, original's better. Covers.
Okay.
It's not terrible. Like, none of these are terrible. They're just, either better or worse than the original.
Caleb, did you collect your thoughts?
Yes.
You
This
got
is
it?
my favorite parody out of the entire bundle.
cover.
Or yeah. Okay, whatever.
Parody's different.
And I think so. Both of the originals are really good. So it's really hard or sorry, not both the originals. Both the cover and the original are good, I find. So it's really hard to. I guess the original is slightly better just because it's also like the original and it's a classic. So I'd say the original is better. But Rivers did do a good job on it.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I do enjoy the Weezer cover of it, but I would have to agree that the original is better. Although I am impressed by Rivers' ability to hit the high note, just maybe not the same vibe as the original, and it's definitely one, like, I don't know anything else by Aha, the original.
That's okay. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering too. It's just like sometimes you can be very specifically, like, you get that one song out there, but then everyone compares you to that one song, and so you're not like everyone else. Like, oh, I want to hear your other music, and everyone is like, no, I'd rather just stick with this one song I know, kind of thing. And
That'll be it for me. Thanks.
yeah. So, but yeah.
Okay. I think I'm torn because I feel like I like the vocals better on the Weezer one, but I think the music...
Really?
Of course, I freaking love Rivers. Rivers is my
Yeah,
favorite
but
singer.
His voice isn't always the best.
Yeah, but it's always the best to me. Like, both are really good. I think the music is better in the original because it's especially noticeable in the beginning. They did kind of botch the intro because the little ring in it was so weak. It was like, it didn't... The song, whenever that part's going, and it's like... And then there's that video that was like a meme or a while. Where it's like the girl wearing the weird glasses. Yeah, it was like a vine of the girl and she like turns when it does that. And it's like so pure and so perfect, that little bring. But Weezer botched it. It was very quiet. And then the synth for the entire song seemed a lot less emphatic than in the original. It seemed a lot more like it was bass driven, which sounded cool, but not as good musically as the song originally was. But...
You don't seem that happy.
Well, I am happy when we're together. We can all be happy together. Matt, what did you think of Happy Together, originally by the Turtles?
Yeah, I do really enjoy the original. One of the Super Smash Bros. Commercials growing up actually has this song.
Yeah,
in it when
for
they're like,
64?
"Da, da." Yeah. Yeah, and so I really enjoy the song, and yeah, kind of nostalgic for me. Yeah, again, Weezer did a good job. To me, the original's better, but I think it was a really good, crisper sound. Again, it's however many years old. Redoing it was good, but
So you still really enjoyed it?
oh yeah, definitely not a bad cover. So
Cool. Steven?
First thing I noticed was River's voice is not suited for this song.
Leave.
Like the very first time it says "Happy Together," and like that note drags out. It's like you can tell it's auto-tuned a lot
I don't
because
know.
he clearly could not carry that note.
I don't know if it is.
We'll listen to it again. But anyways, so the song goes a lot harder. I don't know if that's the correct
Yeah,
term.
no, it does. It does. It does go harder.
It's the original is very like soft and slow and dainty, I guess, and then this one brings in drums and electric guitar, so it's a very different feeling to it. I don't like it as much as the original. I think the original, just the vibe really matches with the song, and this one doesn't. It's like they're singing this, peaceful, loving song, but it's to like drums and electric guitars, and it's like something's off. So yeah, it's not bad, but it's not as good as the original.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to feel. I'm trying to think because like I like the tone to this one more, but the original is also good. So I don't know which one to pick. So I guess they're both good in different ways, better in different ways than each other. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy with it.
Well, we can be happy together.
yeah.
So happy.
Already used that one, but that's fine. It was more natural this time.
At least you're not paranoid.
Well, wait. I didn't give my opinion.
for a minute.
I always forget.
It's okay.
when-
I'm here too.
I always, because we always switch up the order, so I'm like, wait.
That's all right.
Who's? Did you already go?
I didn't. This one absolutely slays. I think it's one of the best tracks on the album. I think the original is like wonderful and splendid and fantastic and really, really good. And it's like a perfect song. And I feel like I like this one more though because, as Steven said, this one goes so hard. Like the backing vocals through the entire song. Actually, I noticed this time through that it sounds like they're female. It sounds like female backing vocals. but they're very quiet and hard to hear. So I want to actually read in the credits on the sleeve for it and see if there was like possibly a female vocalist, because they have had like
Go away, go.
So that sounded really good, really incredible. The build into the chorus with all of the instruments together is like just magnificent.
Yeah.
It makes the chorus punch really hard. And yeah, it was great. It was great. And Caleb, what were you saying about something about being paranoid? What was it?
You know what? I'm just paranoid. You just ruined it.
Sorry.
You can leave.
I think paranoid is kind of like, it's kind of a neat way to start the other side of the album, because like if you're listening to a CD, it kind of just like flows one to the next, but to flip the record and then hear that, it's very different from the rest of the songs that they do on it. Because I mean, I don't know when Paranoid originally came out. I know it's by Black Sabbath, but it's like all the other songs seem to fit together, and then side B kind of shakes things up a little bit. And concerning the original, I mean, it's not hard to beat Ozzy Osbourne's voice. In my opinion, I don't like Ozzy Osbourne's voice. So you can imagine how excited I would be to hear Rivers sing the song instead. But nope.
No, yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was Brian singing.
it was.
Because it wasn't Scott or
What the
Pat.
crap?
So it was the guitar. It's got to be Brian. It's got to be. And he sounds
He's
actually...
the guitar player.
He's almost like... mimicking Ozzy, and it actually sounds pretty close to the original.
I know. I realized that.
And it's good. I like it better than the original because it's a bit more clean cut sounding, as we've discussed with some of the other ones, and obviously because it's the greatest band that there ever was doing it. So, Steven, what do you think?
I'm not familiar with the original. Like, I've heard it before, but like probably not for a decade or so. So like, hearing this was like, oh, first off, it doesn't sound like Rivers. You said it was probably Brian. So I'm like,
Definitely.
it sounds good. And it's probably as good as the original, I would imagine. If not better. Because, like, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne doesn't have a great voice either, so. But the vocals were good in the song. Good job, Brian.
Way to go, Brian. Sponsor us.
Well
Comment
done,
down
Brian.
below.
Me? You?
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I usually
yeah.
am more on the ball with that.
No, it's all good. So, of all the tracks, this is probably the one I know the least, I would say. I know it's on Guitar Hero from a long time ago, but I mean, Black Sabbath usually is. It's like Guitar Hero. Black Sabbath to me is like Guitar Hero or some old guy's garage while he's working on a car.
Yeah.
Like, that's Black Sabbath in my head.
That sums it up nicely.
So it's like, yeah, just old, whatever rock, classic rock, aggressive radio station, you know, an old guy that's just working on an old truck because he's trying to relive the glory days or whatever.
It's not going to happen, pal. Not a chance.
Yeah, but I was really impressed with the cover of the song, and I like the aggressive nature of it. I think Weezer does a good job trying to do like the harder stuff. I know, like, reviewing the album last time I was here, there was a more aggressive song, and I was like, oh, okay, like, let's see if Weezer can do almost like this alter ego, like, band, you know, and all they need is, like, someone to, like, scream or something. I don't know, they yell more, but I would like to see that, you know. So this was...
Yeah, I was going to say that. I remembered some screaming from one of the songs.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Pinkerton.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different kind of screaming.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know how like Dallas Green is in like City and Color, but like, which is really good, like acoustic and meaningful lyrics and everything. But then he's also in like Alexis on Fire, and just like a lot more rage and like aggressive, and one of the guys will like scream and stuff. But yeah, I wonder if I would be interested in seeing Weezer do something like that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn?
It absolutely is.
Am I the last
Are you
person?
paranoid? or not?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like the Weezer version is slightly better. I like the original. Like, it's okay. It's the original. It's a song. But I like this one, like the Weezer cover, a little bit better, and I feel like it's more heavy and powerful with the guitar, so it's more fulfilling, I find.
Darn right.
But you know what's not as fulfilling?
What?
Is that Mr. Blue Sky?
Really? Tell us about that.
All right, I will tell you. The original is better.
Wow.
This feels so cheap, and the piano sounds like it was bought from Costco and it hasn't been tuned. The solo does not compare to the original, and the vocals don't sound as good.
I've never heard Caleb rip on Weezer this hard before.
I don't care for this version as much. The original is better, and I hate the encore where he's like, ba da da da.
You really like da 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 da.
Yeah, that just it's not as good as the original.
It's not.
It's not.
Whatever.
Really
This song feels so. It feels cheaply made.
Okay.
The
I
original's
think it
better.
sounds very, very similar to the original,
I
but
don't.
just like slightly less good.
Okay.
like
Okay, well at least you agree with that.
similar to what Caleb said, except less extreme. Like it's not that much worse, but it is like barely noticeably worse.
Okay. Not even worse. It's just not as good.
Yeah, but they're both good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, I've always liked this song, especially like the original. I especially like how it's on the Guardian soundtrack. And,
That's what
I
makes
just picture like Baby Groot like dancing in the front while everything is going chaotic behind or whatever. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this song is very. I don't know, like how to describe it. It's very like windows down, driving on a summer day, sunshine. Everything's great, whatever. And I think Weezer keeps that mood as well. It's very hype and I guess not hype, but just like it's very preppy and chipper and everything's going my way today kind of thing. And even like the original, like I wanted to know what the song was about, and apparently it's not too much. But
Just a
the
feel-good song.
guy literally he was locked away in like a Swiss chalet in like the Alps, and it was dark and misty for 2 weeks, and I didn't come up with a thing. Suddenly the sun shone, and it was wow, look at those beautiful Alps. And I wrote Mr. Blue Sky and 13 other songs in the next 2 weeks. So it's literally, the lyrics are exactly what you think it's about. It's just about like a nice, pleasant, sunny day. I thought it was going to be some deeper meaning to it, but no. But
Huh.
it's still a fun song to listen to. And
It's actually about crushing up the blue and
Inhaling
inhaling
through
through
the
your
nose.
nose.
No, that's a different song. It's actually written by
And
Rivers.
the warm sunshine. Is the
But you
effect.
like the original better?
yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
Consensus?
everybody likes the original better? I haven't given my
So
opinion yet.
far.
So, wow, what a rush. That's what I wrote. Although, I will say, I think the original is better, but it's only because of a couple little things.
Oh.
So, like, the first solo in the song, because I think there's a couple parts where there's, like, a little guitar solo. The first solo sounds really crappy, like it was recorded with a $65 guitar on a $20 amp and played by a toddler. Like, it sounds sloppy. Like, it sounds like it was played sloppy. It sounds like it was played through crappy equipment.
Can't remember the 50-cent strings.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sorry, is this the new one or the old one?
The Weezer one.
Okay.
Yeah, the Weezer one, the solo sounds like
The old one's perfect.
they kind of botched it. But the bass in the part where it kind of like shifts and sounds like an entirely new song is starting, the steady bass line there, that sounded really cool in the Weezer one over the original. So like I feel like there's aspects of the Weezer one that I kind of appreciate more, but I'd say the original's better overall. But the song that is indisputably, absolutely, without a doubt, and if anybody agrees with me, they can leave right now. Or don't actually, please. But I don't think anybody's going to disagree, is No Scrubs. No Scrubs, better than the original, hands down. The
Yes,
original,
I agree.
this song is really amusing because it obviously is meant to be sung by a woman singing to a man-child or a scrub. It's very clearly comedic hearing these words coming from River's mouth because it doesn't sound like it's like gay or anything. It
Well,
just
Rivers
sounds
is straight. So
so it just sounds funny.
Well,
yeah.
It just sounds amusing. The bass really shines in this one over the original, and basically everything else does too. The original song freaking sucks. However, Rivers has taken this flaming hot garbage and turned it into a masterpiece worthy of this album, ultimately probably being the best track. It's so good. And when this album first came out, I didn't listen to this song. I listened to it, but it wasn't one I saved to my phone or anything. I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, oh, this is weird. But then going back and listening to it a little bit later, I was like, I was missing out. This song's incredible. I love this. It's hilarious. That's all I have to say about it. Matt, what do you think?
I think there's a lot of divorced moms in their 40s that would disagree with you. I think there's a lot of that early 2000s, late 90s, is very nostalgic for a lot of people. And I know this song was big for that. It's never been one of my favorite songs, but I know there's a lot of people that will sing at the passenger side. It's so funny to me too, how I think I don't know, especially since we're younger than that era, we're well, I don't understand why that's big, but we probably have songs like that where the next generation is gonna look at us and be like, why did you listen to that?
Yeah,
why was that popular?
Watch Me by a Name.
Yeah.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, but yeah, I enjoyed the Weezer version better.
Good.
I think also because you can hear instruments being played instead of TLC. It's very much this song was recorded in a studio with on a computer kind of thing. I don't think anyone played the acoustically the sounds outside of a laptop or a computer at the time, I guess.
Yeah.
But just the way it sounded.
It's very dry sounding, the original. Whereas this one has a lot more character.
Yeah.
Steven, what do you think?
Well, obviously I agree the cover's better. This is the only song on the album where I don't like the original, but I do like the cover. So it's unique in that way. And of course I agree that it's funny to hear Rivers sing it. I don't know, just imagining him singing these words and I don't know what he's thinking. But I don't think the original's garbage. Because obviously without the original we wouldn't have the cover, and the cover is based on the original, so it's the original has some merit to it. I understand why it would be popular, but yeah, it's really not that good, and the cover just made it a whole lot better. So.
Amen.
I like this better than the original, of course. I don't care for the original at all. It's kind of dog water.
It is.
I like Rivers' vocals in this one as well, and I like the organs or whatever it is. I feel like it sounds better. Whatever it is. Ding-a-ding,
It's some sort of a synth pad on the keys.
Synth organ
Or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's an organ.
I don't care.
At all.
No, yeah.
But
You know what he means, though.
I will tell you something. A cover that should not have been made is Billie Jean.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk about that.
Michael Jackson takes the win for this one. Rivers' version isn't that great. It's okay, but the original is better. And I feel like this one is also slightly weak with the instruments. There's maybe a few instruments in there, but there's nothing that really flows, I find. It feels like copy and paste again. And I feel like Rivers tries too hard to hit those high notes. And it doesn't work out as well.
I think Rivers actually did a really good job.
I think he did, but I feel like there's some times where he just tried too
However,
hard.
why the heck he decided to cover a Michael Jackson song
Yeah.
in the first place? Dude, you think you can really improve on Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
You can't. No, it's not gonna happen. Especially his voice. Michael Jackson had an amazing voice, and even though Rivers does a fantastic job in the song, it just doesn't match. It doesn't compare. So it's good, but why even bother making it when it's obviously not going to be as good as the original?
I think that's hogwash because I think that it's better than the original.
Wow.
And I also very strongly disagree with Caleb because I think that the bass is a lot more boomy. The
You don't
drums.
listen to enough classics.
It's really good. I would say even the little like electric guitar riff in there over the bass line, I'd say maybe it's got a little bit of a sharper sound in the original, but this one overall it's better, it's boomier, it's I don't know, it seems a little bit more of an upbeat. It's just my opinion. Everybody's got one, including Matt Reed. Let's hear it.
I mean, yeah. Actually, this is the song I was on the album. I figured would anger the most people because Michael Jackson is very like religious to a lot of people. Where it's like, don't touch his music, don't you dare like do anything or whatever. Like it's like it's perfect in my mind. Don't taint it. Don't change it. Like whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think from an art perspective, there are a lot of things in the entertainment world with music and movies and books and stuff where, especially when it comes to fiction and art, where it's okay to critique and criticize. You're like, okay, how could we make this better? Or whatever. And I know a lot of people will be like, no, this like exactly what I said before. Don't touch this. It's perfect as it is, whatever. But sometimes I wouldn't mind hearing other people putting different songs into their genre, and so I feel like Weezer did that. I've always liked the song. I think it's catchy. I think the lyrics are weird. If you no, but seriously, if you look at the song at what it's talking about, I'm like, this is not a song that people, especially like the themes of it or whatever. It's like I don't think a lot of people realize what they're singing about. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you go to like a sports game and everyone's singing like Mr. Brightside by the Killers. You're just like, I don't think anyone here knows what the song's about, or they're so trash that they just don't care, because it's like they just want to be part of this massive choir singing the song and be a part of something bigger than yourself. But Billie Jean's is one of those songs where I'm like, to me, the lyrics are trash. Sorry, but the song itself is so catchy and so amazing. It's just a bummer that it couldn't have been about something happier than about like, oh, this kid is my dad, or this kid is my child, or oh, this kid is not my child. And it's like you have problems if you have that problem in your life.
Yeah, like I think
you have serious issues.
I think the only song really worth listening to about that topic, other than maybe Billie Jean, because I do like Billie Jean, is "Gold Digger" by Kanye West. It's an absolute classic.
That is a great song.
Yeah,
it's along a similar nature, I find.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear Weezer cover Gold Digger.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
No, I don't think so. I disagree with
Okay,
that.
wait, so do you like the original better, though?
I do like the original
Okay.
better.
It's fair. That's fair. I'm glad, though.
It's fine.
Actually,
you can
wait.
Stand by me.
I was just going to say, nobody stand by me, because I'm the only one who likes it better. But
Well, it's because you're wrong.
I think this song's a solid finisher. I will not make the claim for this one that it is better than the original, because it actually seems a little bit bland. The strings in it sound cool, but they sound very fake. They sound like keyboard strings.
Yep.
And I feel like Weezer has the budget that they should be having real strings. But I mean, it was still really good, like really well done. It's a good cover. But I think that the original has a little bit more magic to it that Weezer didn't capture, but it's still really good. Caleb, what do you think?
I'll just say it right about here. The original's better. This version is still really good. And yeah.
Steven?
Yeah, I like both versions. I do. I think the vocals are a lot more clear and clean in Weezer's version. In the original, like, I like, I think it's Benny King.
Yeah.
His singing is good, but it's like their technology wasn't so good in those days. So when he goes like loud and high, it's like a bit, doesn't sound very good with the...
Goes above the decibels.
Yeah, it's like fuzzy, but the original I still think is a lot better, mostly just because of the instrument choice. Like the music in the original is very soft and romantic.
And violin.
Yeah, with the real strings. And in this one, there's guitar and drums. And it's like, what are those even doing in this song? They do not belong.
Well, there's drums in the original.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, they're a lot softer.
True.
There's no electric guitar, though, for sure.
No.
Yeah, you are taking a soul song from the 60s and turning it into a alternative rock song for 2010s. So I again, this is a song I think is going to step on people's toes, that especially older people that grew up with the song, that are definitely set in their ways. They're not going to like the Weezer cover of it. Again, I thought Weezer did a good job making it their own. Maybe for nostalgic factors, the movie's really good. Stand By Me, they made a movie about that. I think that was in the 80s. Definitely inspired the nature of Stranger Things and those kind of becoming a man kind of movies, storytelling. The movie's really good, and I believe they used this song in it. But yeah, I'd still probably say I like the original better, but I really appreciate and thought Weezer did a really good job with their cover of this song. So
Cool. Well, that is the last song. We got everybody, all right? For that one, that's the last song on Teal. So before we move on to our little extra there, we'll talk about our overall album thoughts. I'll start. Overall, this album was a huge comeback for Weezer, because Weezer kind of was like, a lot of people didn't even know Weezer was still a band. Like, occasionally they would have some songs on the radio, like I think Thank God for Girls from the White Album played on like 89X and stuff, but on like most of the alternative stations, on the pop stations, nothing like newer from like probably from like 2000, probably from Green onward, really, like nothing really played on the radio a whole lot. But this album actually like was a noteworthy thing for people, and it was really well received when it did come out. I think it was 2017. It put them back on the radio with Africa, because the Africa cover actually I've heard on the radio in the past several years
thousands of times.
more than the original. And I mean, like, most of the songs are pretty much Rivers karaoke. Rivers is my favorite singer, so I have no problem with that. Most of the songs are better than the originals in my books, but I'm definitely biased. So, Caleb, what do you think?
Alright, so, for this album, I know I said a lot that the originals were better, but this was still a solid album. Most of it sounded good. It all had a really good depth to it, and, I feel like they picked some good songs to cover, although that most of them are better than, like, the originals are better. But I will say that they should not have recreated Mr. Blue Sky, because that one was just dog water. And
what is dog water?
It's just a thing that...
Like hot dog water?
No, it's like, I think it's like the water...
Like a dog dish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World was probably the best parody. Probably.
It's not a parody.
This isn't Weird Al parody.
Although Weird Al's in the music video for Africa.
He is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He comes out with the accordion.
Oh, that's funny.
Please continue, Caleb.
Yeah, that's really all I have to say, but it's definitely worth checking out for some of the songs,
Go listen to it.
but not Mr. Blue Sky.
Tell us what one's your favorite down below.
I disagree. I don't think it's worth checking out.
Really?
Yeah. This album just
But
feels
he
really
looks green,
pointless to me.
so
Because, like, pretty much all the songs are just as good as the original or not quite as good. So it's like, what's the point of just re-releasing these songs that are already there, that are already good? The only exception is No Scrubs, which the original is not good and the cover is. The rest of the songs is like, the originals already exist, so there's no point for this album to exist. So, yeah.
Now the opinion that we've all been waiting for. Our special guest, Matt Reed.
Oh, I don't know if my opinion has more merit than you guys, but overall I enjoyed it. I think it's really good. It's not an album I don't think I would particularly choose to buy and like have a hard copy of it for my car or whatever to drive around. What?
I think it's
No,
funny because I have 2 hard copies, because I have the CD and the vinyl.
Oh, okay.
it's just funny because you're kind of right.
Yeah. Aiden's different, so it's
I mean,
okay.
it's a cool collector's item, but I understand what you're saying.
Please.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was really good to listen to, and yeah, it's fun to get, the artistic expression of one band through songs that I would like to actually know why they chose particular songs. I know you explained why they chose the Africa song.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why this song?
Do you want to FaceTime him?
Let's get Rivers on here right now.
Come on.
I wouldn't mind. Maybe I need to like just Google it and find it. But kind of like I am curious as to why these songs, like why are these songs close to heart and not other songs, especially like the TLC one.
Yeah, it seems like an odd one to throw in there.
Yeah,
but I'm so glad he did.
but yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't do a song by Kiss.
Oh yeah. Or Green. Well, never mind.
You can say Green Day.
Yeah, I really.
So before
they're around the same area.
Before we wrap up the episode, we did throw in, after listening to the vinyl, we threw in the
He did do a Green Day cover actually. Sorry.
the Enter Sandman cover that they did for the Blacklist, which is a compilation album where a whole bunch of artists doing covers of Metallica songs. I think there's like several hundred songs on it.
wow.
Or maybe it's 50, I don't know. But a lot of them are repeat songs, but different bands. And Weezer did Enter Sandman for it. And Matt, I'm curious to hear your opinion first, and then we'll work our way across here.
So yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to the song a lot. I heard it everywhere. Even like watching baseball, like Mariano Rivera was like one of the best baseball pitching closers. And like when they brought him out at the end of the game to come pitch, they would play this song in the background. And it was kind of like the lights just like went down kind of thing. It was like darkness entered the stadium. It was like this whole big ritual thing that the Yankees did. I was just like dun, 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 as he's like walking out to the mound, and people were terrified of him. And it's like it kind of just set the stage for him. So he definitely, I mean, it added to his career the way this song is. How it's just like it is kind of spooky in a way too. Not like the Marilyn Manson version, but just kind of like exit light, like lots of darkness or whatever. Like it is kind of like a spooky song. But it's so well done. Like the guitar riffs are just like classic, like that chugging and everything. Like I feel like even if you don't listen to rock music, you know this song. It's been played so much, and I think Weezer again they do a really good job when they do aggressive covers and aggressive sounding songs. And so I would like to hear more of that, definitely from them. So do like a hardcore cover album or do their own hardcore album. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Steven?
Well, the original's good. They take I really like the song because they take the notion of, well, Sandman, who's like this folklore kind of children's tale guy who gives you dreams, but it makes it really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done in such a way that works really well, where he just talks about like dreaming, like he mentions Snow White and Never Never Land and these things, and then even says the prayer, now I lay me down to sleep. But it's all done in such a way that it sounds really like spooky, which is really cool. But in the cover, Rivers doesn't sound spooky, so it just sounds really lame and stupid and cheesy, and it sucks. And then there's a random Buddy Holly riff thrown in there as well, which is like, okay, weird and random and adds to the cheesiness. And then at the end, there's whistling. Where did that come from? I don't know. So it's just, yeah, really not a good cover at all.
Did you enjoy that little part with like that guitar riff where it kind of sounded like the Buddy Holly like?
Yeah,
That's what he's saying is cheesy.
You didn't like it?
It sounds slightly out of place, but it's okay.
No, it sounds
out of place. It's very out of place, but it's not like it sounds terrible. It's like, oh, that's Buddy Holly, and it's like, but what's it doing in this song? Like,
yeah, that was really random.
Okay. It's just like they wanted to do this cover, but they're like, let's really not take it seriously at all, though.
Or
just
what Aiden said,
make it fun.
What Aiden was saying that they did they were featured in like tons of songs, hundreds of songs, whatever you're saying. So they're like, we need to market our music a bit more. So they put in the Buddy Holly.
Like paid tribute to
Shameless
themselves.
plug.
Well, paid tribute to Metallica. What do you think, Caleb?
I like this version better.
Thank goodness somebody's right.
Why?
Okay, so the original vocals are kind of weird. I don't like how it sounds. Like, it's okay, but
It's supposed to sound like that. That's the whole point.
it's really weird.
The guys from Metallica singing are never going to go on like The Voice or American Idol. Like
No.
they're not that kind of singers.
No, and
They're
I like
not made for that.
I like Rivers' vocals better in this. Although that they're not as aggressive, they sound better for the ears. And this one kind of sounds a little bit more aggressive because this one is recorded a little bit after, so it's more heavy and like better quality. So the bass is, you know how never mind.
I know what you're trying to say. I think they're pretty on par with their aggressiveness, but
I enjoyed this one, and the Buddy Holly riff was pretty surprising, I guess.
Surprising.
yes. Is that it?
I guess so.
All right. All I have is, holy crap, the best band covering the best song by the worst band. Because I don't like Metallica.
Oh, okay.
I like some of their music, but I don't like their singer because he doesn't sing. He just goes like this over the... Anyway, like, it hurts my throat to do that. But he basically just does that. He doesn't sing. It's not my style. Enter Sandman, though, is a fantastic song. The original, I do really, really like it. But, wow, Rivers singing it, I really, really liked. Especially, too, the part where he's doing the prayer there, and then he adds in the layered vocals, and he's singing high. It's just a beast under your bed. He, like, adds in more vocals there and kind of builds it up a bit. And I think that sounds really cool. It's really, really good. You can also tell what the lyrics are a lot better in this version. Like,
That's what I mean.
He's enunciating his words a lot better.
Maybe that's why it's not as good.
And then the Buddy Holly riff at the end of the solo is like the icing on the cake. It's so sweet and so beautiful and good. Because it's like, I laughed the first time I listened to it and I heard that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious they did that. Because Weezer's are really like, they're a fun band.
It's more like the icing on the pie. It doesn't belong there. It's good, but why?
And then,
why is it on there?
And then how it ends too, how there's like a minute of like the chugging, the riff outro, and then it's like kind of, you can kind of hear like the distortion dying down, and it sounds more like it's just like this, like it's from a microphone, and you're in the room with them, and then you can kind of hear them moving around and like talking to each other and whistling. It's just kind of like a behind the scenes little audio at the end. So I really liked it.
I think they made several bad creative decisions.
Whatever. Well,
like deciding to cover that song.
Thank you, Matt, for being here again, and thank all of you for being here for another episode of
Teal
WEEZCAST Plus. Teal?
Oh.
Okay. Bye, everybody. He's wild for that. Where'd he go? Huh?
Entered Neverland.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Wow. Off to
That's one of our best outros ever. Bye, everybody.
Bless the rains in Africa, Rivers.
Sponsor us.
Where's the